Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Marathon Mondays with Mal at the world headquarters of Marathon Coach. It's a big day here for us that works on the Marathon Mondays show, everybody. It's the 50th episode of Marathon Mondays, and it's we decided to do kind of a little rethought on how our year went, where we've been, where we're going, and so that's the reason for the title today. Looking back and looking forward. In preparation for this show, talked to a lot of people around the building, a lot of people around the company, talked to some customers, talked to some of the viewers that love watching Marathon Mondays, that get some enjoyment out of it, that get some research out of it, people that have been influenced by the show in a positive way. And I think that's a really good thing to do, is get everyone's input. And so we did that today. We've got 4 guests that you're going to see out here when we get out there, and so it's something that I'm pretty excited about doing. We spent the last week coordinating this, and so let's take a step out here. And I'll introduce you to our 4 guests and see what's going on. All right, let me take a seat here. In the true fashion of Marathon Mondays, there is no script, although I am holding this. So, first thing I'd like to do is thank the 4 of you and introduce each of you. So for those of you who don't know, we're on the production floor. This is actually in the showroom floor, and we've got these 2 beautiful buses brought in here. And first person I'd like to highlight is Pete Sutton. Pete is, as you have seen many times on Marathon Monday, he's the head of our marketing team. When I pitched the idea of doing a Marathon Monday, it was Pete who I had to pitch it to, and Pete who put a lot of thought into it, and we came up with this format. Jay Graham, approaching 30 years with Marathon. He is, so you're the head of the engineering team, is that correct?
My title is engineering manager.
Engineering manager.
So.
Okay. So Jay Graham, many of you have seen him all over the country at some of our shows. You were down in Florida last week, right?
Prevost Stuff.
The Prevost Stuff show. So a lot of you know Jay. He's been on the show many times. The person that's been on the show the second amount of times, is that even a term? I don't know. It really doesn't matter.
Are you reading your script?
Not reading the notes. Al Christensen, you guys know him well. In fact, someone referred to you as the Elephant Man.
Really?
I think I mentioned that to you.
Okay.
But it's a good thing. It's a good thing, Al.
But it's a
good
positive thing. It is.
Okay.
Al Christensen, for 34 years, has been with Marathon, and he is the head of the design team here, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What's your official title? If you had to say, yeah, let's read the script. If you,
Vice President of Interior Design.
that's it. Vice President of Interior Design. I know it's somewhere in the notes. Oh my goodness, if you only knew what these notes were. Reader's Digest. So, 34 years with the company. You've been all over the country. You have designed coaches for over 3 decades. And you've been on the show 8 times, maybe a little bit more. If I look at my notes, I think it said 8+, which means when we did a staff show where people just came in.
I think I walked in with
Get in here.
Productions here.
Get in here.
Hey, Mal.
Hey,
Hi,
Scott
everyone.
Runkle, everybody. You guys remember Scott?
Hey,
He was
Scott.
in episode 11. Scott, we're just kind of,
Great.
I think it was 11.
Oh,
Maybe it was 8.
it's been a long
What
time.
do your notes say?
My notes say 11.
We'll go with 11 then.
All right. So before we move on, stay right there. Scott, don't go anywhere.
Okay, will do.
Wanted to introduce the co-host of Marathon Mondays, Dave Bash.
Co-host.
Wow.
It's something we came up with, man. It's something we came up with.
He's
because-
making it up as he goes.
Anything.
That-
I can't afford to not pay him nothing.
That's right.
Is that Pete's idea?
It was my idea, and here's why. Dave has been in over 25% of the episodes.
Wow.
So, yep, 14 episodes Dave's been in of the 50. And Dave does a lot to help us when he's not even on the show, moving buses, getting things prepared for us. So everybody knows Dave. He's been all over the country. He does our pre-delivery inspections on pre-owned coaches that come in, as you know. He does a lot of the deliveries for new coaches, for pre-owned coaches. Dave is on the go. And just to give you a quick little story, this is a good one. Literally, last Monday, we're about to go live, and Dave's there. And we're going to go live with Dave for our daily topic. And then, boom, I call him, and he's already on I-5, headed down to the Bay Area to help a customer. So we had to scramble 5 minutes before going live, but that's the nature of the show, and that's the nature of the customer service. Yeah, that's the nature of the customer service that Dave provides to the customers. Well, quite frankly, that we all do.
That's why he gets the parking spot right outside.
That's
the
right.
door.
There's only
Co-host
one
gets his own
person.
parking
Just
spot,
take it.
So.
Come on in. Come on in, you guys.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. So just to kind of introduce everybody that's walking in, you guys met Scott Runkle, episode 11. Andrew, let's see, Andrew from engineering department. We got to meet Andrew on his first day back on episode 6. That was really cool because he was walking around with Jeff. Jeff was showing him around. And it was a really neat thing because it was his first day of employment. Tell us about the engineering department. Or,
Put him on the spot.
There you go.
on the spot. Tell us about what it's been. It's almost been a year for you.
Yeah, it's almost been a year.
Okay.
It's been working a lot on bracketry and just getting a lot of drawings out, making sure that everything keeps flowing for each and every coach, making sure that the underbelly and all the bracketry needed for the ceiling and for designing sofas, all that stuff gets issued in drawings so people can produce it quickly and get it on time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Before we move on, Scott, you've been with the company several years. How many years now? 10 years. We got to see you talk about cabinetry with Mike Perotti. Mike just walked in.
Hi, guys.
There's
Hi,
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike was with us on the first episode. He got to be kind of the guinea pig along with me. And so Mike's been on the show several times, and that episode with you, he was on there. Without giving away the company secrets, what are you working on that you're excited about? Tell us everything.
Just a lot of newer floor plans that have been coming out recently that, they are interesting in the way the cabinets fit together, and when we have to scribe them and do that kind of stuff, it's more of a challenge, which is fun for working to use your brain and think about, okay, we got to do this one, and this one will fit in here, and it's engineered well to where we don't have to think too much.
He
But
loves
getting
the challenges we give him.
getting it all to fit together at the right time, and you got to plan out a little bit. So that's fun for me for work.
That's really cool. And the challenge comes from your department or from another department or from Mike, and we got to figure out how to do it, right?
Yeah,
So-
we tell him all the time how fun it is.
What was a challenge from Alan?
Yeah. Whoa. And then moving over onto this side, 3 members from our paint team over on this side, and I know we got several cameras, we got multi-cameras going here today. Production floor. So let's introduce the 3 guys from the paint. Edgar over here on the far, I guess that would be the far left. Edgar, how long you been with the company?
Let me see, 14 years.
14 years. Andy Ibarra, who is the manager of our paint department. Andy's been with us 12
years.
12 years. And Paul from the paint department, how many years?
I've been here since June of 1992.
Of 1992, June of 92. So all 3 of you have been in episodes of Marathon Mondays. Andy, you've been in several. And the reason that we wanted you guys to come down and put you on the spot, and I know this is not your favorite thing to do, is because we wanted to acknowledge you and thank you all for coming, rising to the occasion for this show that is very unique. I don't know of another company, I'm sure there are, but I don't know of another company that is so transparent, where the employees just allow us to invade their space, whether it be on break or off break.
My boss is here.
Good turn.
My boss is So, from all of us at the Marathon Monday show, and you know, it's a family oriented. I mean, this is my first year of employment, as it is yours, and you know, thank you so much for helping us be successful and do 50 episodes. It's helped me learn what you guys do here. It's helped me learn our product, and really, it's a family-oriented place to work, and a big part of that is you guys. So, thank you, not just because we're on camera, but because we're on camera. No, I'm kidding.
Congratulations on your 50 episodes.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is a really fun thing to do, and you guys make it fun. Otherwise, it would just be me talking and no one would listen. So, don't want to hold you guys up too long. So, if you guys need to break out, if you can stay and want to stay, feel free. If not, you know, feel free to, you know, I know it's break time. Or
Scott, you had a question?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh yeah, where's the donuts?
Yeah.
That was the
the
question.
donuts are being delivered.
Okay, they're in the mail.
Whether that's today or not, I'm not sure. So thank you to all of you guys. If you want to stay, please feel free to. If not, thank you again. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
So what happens if we stay?
You have to stay. So,
Co-host.
Mike, please do stay. Mike Brody's going to stay with us, and that's good. Mike's been on the show 4 times. So before we get into it, well, let's get into it. We have no script. I talked to these 4 guys prior to doing today's show, kind of a recollective of our year, and I asked them a couple of questions, which I usually don't do, but I didn't want to put them completely on the spot. I wanted to kind of plant the seed, and I want to start first with Pete Sutton. Pete's been with the company 10 years. He's in charge of marketing, which means he's in charge of Marathon Mondays. And Pete, first of all, over your 10 years here, what have you worked on that really stands out, that you can talk about, that you really enjoy?
Wow, that's tough. The most fun part about my job is more the overall thing. It's the overall vision of it all, trying to tell a story. That's all marketing is telling a story. You know, there's a lot of great people here. You know, we talk about family all the time, but you know, you can say that, you can put it on a piece of paper, but it doesn't really mean anything until you start meeting the members of the family, which is what we're doing here. So whether it's the calendar, whether it's things like Mondays with Mal, or doing the events, that's probably been the most important thing and most enjoyable thing for me, is just trying to find a creative way to get everyone, whether it's our clients or potential clients or whoever, to know who we are, what
Right.
we do. Because you know, you can build the best product in the world, but if you don't introduce people to it, they don't know. And one of the biggest things about our vehicles is it's what you don't see. And not many places let you go out on the production floor and look in the walls and look at what's behind the scenes, watch somebody build something. Marathon's unique like that, and you know, they're really great people to let us take advantage of that and to
Yes.
open that up, because otherwise, you know, you can tell everybody in the world that, hey, we got the best done wiring on the planet, but nobody's going to believe it until they see it. Or to say, look, everything's planned out. We've got this immense engineering staff. They've got, we got all these different engineering disciplines. You know, everything's very well thought out. It's not like some guy gets in there and just wings it. But you know, you don't believe it until you see it.
Right.
So that's been one of the most exciting parts about my job.
So we got to meet Pete and his entire team. Episode 6 or 7? I guess I should look at that. Let me refer to my notes. Marketing Madness, episode 7. We went up to Nana's Cafe,
I remember.
and so we got to meet the team, and they're behind cameras right now, behind iPads. But I want to acknowledge your team, not just you, because there is a, you know, I'm kind of flighty. I'm all over the place when we're on camera.
We know.
And putting up with that is the marketing team. So I'm going to stand up, Todd. I know you love when I go off script here. So first of all, Mickey.
Mel, I have something to say.
Yes.
Not to correct Pete, but the best part about working at Marathon is his team. He's working with his team. So
Yes.
I know he talks about innovation and telling the story, but really it's us.
So
It is true.
are we on this camera right here, right now? Absolutely. Todd, step into here, please, because we can do it. And there we go. So we've been talking about Todd for about 20 some episodes, and I really want to highlight Todd, and Mickey's going to help me do that because Mickey's really good with words. But what I'm going to say to you is you've changed the show extremely quick. From day one you came with us. You added a extreme level of professionalism, of skill, of enthusiasm, and it's not like we didn't miss a beat, we stepped a beat up.
Awesome. Thanks.
So
Pleasure.
what you do for Marathon Mondays is incredible, and you're never in front of the camera, and that's why I wanted to do so. And he wore one of my favorite shirts here, so I'm glad he did. So this is Todd Zeller, everybody. Todd has been with us for over 20 episodes, and you are a highlight of Marathon Mondays.
Thanks so much.
You know, if I had a top 3 things to say, it would be about you and that shirt. So anyway, Mickey, you know, you're the assistant manager of the marketing team. Todd's been a huge aspect of our show. And
As he sneaks
as
away.
he sneaks away, and how are we doing on Wi-Fi feed? Are we doing okay?
So we're having some technical
We've had a few issues,
difficulties, and some people are sticking it out, and we're thankful, and some people are going to watch the encore.
Gotcha.
Because there have been some broadcast interruptions.
Well, let's just
So-
get it all on tape, because it looks like I'm still sitting in the bus. So Sarah, who's holding this iPad, come on over here. So hello, Sarah. So we got to see Sarah, episode 1, episode 7, her first episode,
My first day.
her first day. So we got to meet a couple of employees on their first day, and Sarah was one of them. Come on in here, Alan. Come on and sit down. So
Todd, do we need a reboot, or are we okay?
Well, I can't watch it live, so Mickey is, but it's constantly interrupted. We're not sure why.
So we should probably explain to everybody that one of the most exciting parts about what we do is we are willing to try some cutting edge stuff, which is live feeds, and you know, we don't have a broadcast truck, because from what I found out, broadcasting trucks still have these same issues, and so forgive us, we're dealing with some of the most cutting edge stuff that we can find out there, and we're always buying little tools to try and upgrade it, so bear with us. But that's part of Mondays with Mal, is we're not afraid to give it a try and to learn, and sometimes unfortunately we get up with a hiccup, but we'll get it back up if we get a glitch.
absolutely. And so whether you're seeing this live and sticking it out, thank you for sticking it out, or whether you're going to watch it later on YouTube or Facebook, we appreciate it. Now, Sarah's been with the marketing team since episode 7, Marketing Madness, and so you and your husband moved out here from the Dakotas.
Sure did.
I guess that'd be South Dakota,
It
right?
was South Dakota,
South
yeah.
Dakota. Tell us about working at Marathon. What's your experience been like over this year? Because it's almost been a year.
It has, yeah, in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
June. It seems like tomorrow. Tell us about your experience working at Marathon and what you do for Marathon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been really beyond what I could have ever imagined I would find when we moved out here. It's fantastic. All my coworkers are great. I have no complaints. Everyone's fantastic. I get to do a lot of different stuff, which is really cool. I get to do photography, I get to do graphic design, I get to do photo editing, I get to do this live stuff, which
Yes.
is another thing I never thought I'd be doing, but I love it. So it's been a really diverse, interesting job. And I get to travel with the company too, which has been really fun.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and so many of you have met Mickey and Sarah and Pete at these events, and that's a big part of marketing. Like Pete said, you're telling a story. It's beautiful to drive the product right into an event or a show and show it off, but a portion of that is the storytelling and staging of that product, and Mickey, Sarah, and Pete are a big part of that. So thank you so much. And so I'm going to go sit back down. Alan Hagen joined us while we were up talking. Alan Hagen is our quality control manager. And Alan was recently in episode 47 and 49.
That's
the
right.
last episode we did when Dave Bash was headed up I-5. You saw Alan helping me get ready for my CDL test, which was an interesting story. I'll tell you later. And yeah, so big thanks to you for contributing to Marathon Mondays.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Mel, and happy 50th broadcast here. What a
Thank
milestone
you.
here, for sure.
Thank you. And I know your dad watches
Yeah.
religiously, and we love seeing his comments. And I know Mickey always likes to point out when your dad's watching, even when you're not on.
Hey, Dad.
That is great. So feel free to stay with us. We're just going to talk with these guys.
Great.
But feel free to stay with us, or if you've got something going on that you need to go with. But everybody, Alan Hagen, a big part of making sure that the buses are ready to roll. The coach is set and ready for the customers. Quality control is a big part of what we do here on the production floor. So we've talked with Pete Sutton, and we mentioned before I go to Jay Graham, and you're so right, we are going to run long today, but it wouldn't be Mal, the long-winded, without it. So before we run on, we were talking about marketing madness, and there was one, I guess I could say person, that was not, that was in the episode that you haven't met yet. And so would like to introduce you, since we're highlighting everybody that was on the show. Randy, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Wow, come here. Let me see you. Right to you. Everybody remembers Randy from Marketing Madness. And I wanted to talk to you about, how that episode went. Dave Bash was even in that episode. Sweet. Sweet boy. So, for those of you who have been to Marathon and you have visited here, you've been here for service, you've been here to spec out a coach, you've been here to take the tour. Don't forget we do tours here at the World Headquarters every day at 11:30, Monday through Friday. And you remember seeing this guy. Randy is here from time to time. And so we wanted to say hi to him, so I asked Mickey to bring Randy in. Are you having fun? Okay, you sweet boy. There he goes. Okay, so with that, let's move on to Jay Graham. And now this is something where if you guys need to contribute to the conversation, I can put these notes away at this point. Jay Graham's been with the company 30 years.
30 years next month.
Next month. I'm rounding up. What is 3 decades with Marathon? What have you done in your career that stands out, kind of as a highlight?
Boy, that's. You asked me that question, and as I was thinking, I could probably go a couple hours on that subject. But just, boy, I'll think back to one particular coach that I was a coach super at the time, coach superintendent.
Okay.
And it was really my first time working with Al on a coach, and we had done this coach, and I kind of consider it the birth of our current kind of the seeds and birth of our current coach. It had our first air-powered pocket doors. It had our first sculptured carpet. It had our first use of ultra suede and ultra suede ceiling. It had our first interesting lighting that we did some interesting lighting with. It had our first curved shower doors. It had our first sculptured mirrors where we took acrylic mirror and we cut them in interesting shapes and beveled them and polished them.
So it was kind of a turning of a corner for.
It was. I mean, you can agree or disagree. It was the kind of the birth of our current coach. It was the first solid color laminate. The first coach we did that didn't have wood grain laminate. And that coach really started a whole bunch of things that we do today, and was kind of ahead of its time. We talked about it being a little bit ahead of its time.
Right.
But I love design. I love the technology. I love all the gadgets, and so from what I really consider, it's just the fact that we've got this 8-foot wide, 45-foot long piece of technology.
Right.
And all the things that we're able to do in it. The slide rooms completely changed what we do. That was awesome. It's really hard to pinpoint, but I think we've changed the industry. I mean, that's something that I look at Marathon is between slide outs and some of the visual things and the different floor plan innovations and things like that. I'm particularly proud of the floor plan innovations. I think we're pretty creative. We, as Scott said, we've got some new floor plans coming up that customers really haven't had a chance to see, so I'm excited about those.
Well, and we got to see 1277's
1277
new floor plan.
Yes. So
that's exciting.
That was fun. That coach, as we talked about it when we debuted it, we had the idea for that coach about a year ago. It took about a year for that to develop. We've had quite a few items that have taken years. It's been an evolution that's taken years to get, frankly, good enough to be able to do them. We have a lot of creative people, a lot of creative ideas, but some of them are ahead of their time technologically. So being able to watch technology catch up with some of our ideas has been cool.
So is that kind of your highlight over the last year? Is that new floor plan?
That would be over the last year. We've been able to adapt it for a double slide H.
Yes.
And we have a quad slide coming up. And then Al and I are working with customers on an X3 version, which we're really excited about.
Oh, okay.
And over the last year, for me, that's pretty much been a real highlight and something that I've been excited about. We have a coach who's going to debut that quad slide new floor plan, going to debut at our rally coming up next month, and very excited for people to see that. Some of the interior design elements are pretty incredible.
That's the NASCAR rally
show.
The
NASCAR rally coach.
Yeah.
If you can find a way to get to the rally, you got to see this coach.
So, of my limited knowledge of this coach, and I know some things about what you guys are working on, this coach is going to be the talk of the town, for the lack of a better term.
Of course, I'm a little biased, but I would say it would be the talk of the town.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are you looking forward to in the coming year? What are we going to be talking to Jay Graham about on episode 75?
Well, I'll leave that up to Pete.
Without giving away any secrets, is there?
Probably we'll spend the next year really dialing in that floor plan and those elements of the floor plan. We anticipate it being popular, so we just want to really nail it down and make it efficient for our guys to build, because every new floor plan is not as efficient as what it ends up being. So we'll work a lot on that and on efficiencies, and then I'm excited about a couple other things, and I can't really speak to those.
And I love it. I love it. Keep it under the collar.
Really, we've got something coming up I'm excited about, and I think it's going to be popular, and we're just not really ready to talk about it yet. It's still in the development phases. Right. And it should be fun.
And before we move on to Al Christensen to talk about design, I want to ask you, kind of put you on the spot here. Your department seems to be pushing the envelope, constantly thinking, what is next? What do our customers want? What do our customers need? How do we integrate that into a marathon coach? Is that accurate?
It is. It's a bit of a contradiction from this standpoint. Customers want the coaches easier to use. They love all the gadgets.
Right.
So
Boy, that's tough.
it is. It's so we have to attack it from both sides of it. Is how can we give all the gadgets,
Yes.
but make it not too complicated to run. And so we work kind of from both aspects of keeping current on all the technology, but not getting to the point where a rocket scientist has to be able to
For sure.
operate the coach. So our customers want reliability. They want all the things that we've been giving them all these years. A beautiful coach that's reliable, that's technologically is a leader and that stays up with all current things, and is beautiful.
Love it.
I keep telling Al, we can have the most fantastic coach technologically and floor plan and all that, but if it's not beautiful, we've missed the mark. So.
It's almost like you were helping me with the transition. Beautiful coaches.
And what was missed on his introduction is Alan is employee number 1.
That's right.
The very first
I
employee.
think that was in episode 4.
So around here, he's just number 1.
In the pilot episode,
Yeah.
employee number 1, Alan Christensen.
Got a few things.
Break it down.
Is it safe to assume that we're all the megastars of Mr. Mal's neighborhood?
So, yes,
Yeah? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
This entire building.
Okay. I could not help but over here, Pete, say you interviewed them at a cafe? Is that accurate?
Oh my goodness.
Is that accurate?
No, it is not. It was
What?
at
A cafe.
It was in the parking lot of a cafe.
We run a coach.
We were in a coach. Dave drove us down to Nana's Cafe. We've actually been to Nana's twice.
Twice.
You
We
guys
did
have
get
been.
coffee,
Why?
though.
We got coffee and
We got
pastries.
coffee.
So what you're saying is the next time we come into the design suite, pastries.
That were in coffees, latte.
Don't forget the lattes.
Okay, so that's good. You picked up on that. But I got a few more things.
Okay, I like housekeeping.
Yeah, I would like 42 Reese's miniature buttercups. No more, no less, in my dressing room. Wait,
You got a dressing room?
Yes, he does.
I do need a dressing room.
He's not even the co-host, Dave.
We're finicky.
42.
What?
What are you, Beyonce?
He's a designer.
He's a designer.
Yeah.
Employee
Cafe.
Mr. Cafe. Well, I tell you what, that episode with Marketing Madness was our first venture out in a coach, and we wanted to kind of show the functionality. Is that even a word, Jay?
You're digging
So,
us in deeper,
so
man.
you're in the coach having lattes and beans.
Stop digging.
Okay?
Stop digging. Stop digging.
When Pete says just stop, I stop.
I think there's more to this. I think there's more.
So tell us about your design center.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Al, you've been with the company from day one. And I think you're the person that I want to ask about the history. What stands out to you? Bob Shellhorn as an owner, Steve Shellhorn as an owner. I did not have the pleasure of meeting Bob, but I have been around Steve many, many times. Just wanted to hear from you, because I know that there are a lot of people watching that are owners, that are previous owners, and that are future owners. And a big part of Marathon is the history. Can you speak to kind of the history with our ownership and the great legacy that is?
Before that?
At any time. At any time.
Well, first year we started with 4 guys,
Okay.
4 of us, and we had a shop over on West 5th in Burleson, and we strung up Visqueen around the coach just to keep it warm enough in there because we had 1 coach to do it, and it was a lot of hard work. We worked hard and put in a lot of hours. We were making workbenches and setting up shop while we were constructing the coach, so it was very difficult, as you can assume, long hours. Then we kind of expanded. We always had the thought in mind to build the best coach that was available.
Right.
And use the best materials, best design. And obviously, you have a dream, and every step you take, you work towards that.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that could have been better,
Sure.
but we didn't have time to do it. So I would say over the years, I think that's what we've had a couple owners before Bob, and I think that's the family atmosphere and the connection between the employees.
Speak up a little louder.
What?
Speak up
We're
a
going to
little
speak
louder.
up a little louder because I hear the Doobie Brothers and the production floor, so.
I think Pete just said that to me because of the cafe.
Not him. Val does not need to speak up any louder.
He never did that to anybody else.
Yeah, they don't need even sound
Okay.
to hear him in another state.
But I think that was in mind. We were family, and we worked together. We all we were a team,
Right.
and everybody going in the same direction and had the same ideals, because this business isn't for somebody that likes to keep doing, or our company, it is that likes to do things over and over again.
Sure.
So it takes a special person, very talented people, and love doing different things in construction and never being stagnant. So that was kind of the inception or the ideology of it. When Bob purchased this,
Now he purchased a coach, right?
he did. Bob, they bought a coach. He was on his way through, and at the time his wife asked him, let's stop by Marathon. And okay, and then over a period of time, conversation, he bought into the company, and he liked the atmosphere and just the things I was talking about. It's a fun business. It's a product that we're very proud of.
Yes.
And the family atmosphere. We were a good, he wanted to be part of it.
Right.
And so at that time, the thing was we'd be building this facility out here on I-5. We had a place and we were going to grow. Well, Bob, they asked him it was pretty funny, but they asked Bob, will you invest and buy the building, and then we'll move in and we'll pay you. He said, well, I'm not really into real estate. I'm not into real estate. Well, can we borrow the money and...
But I'd love to
grow?
buy the company.
Well, he said, yeah, I'm not in real estate and I'm not a banker.
Right.
Well, then he said, I'd be interested in purchasing a portion of it, and we'll move on and build it. Well, so that was the start. Bob and Robert, or Steve and Robert, ended up working in every department and through the shop when they first came in, and which was really cool.
And this building was built in 1994?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the current ownership was kind of backing off and told Bob, I think let's wait on the building. And he said, I didn't buy into the company to sit here where we are. And that's when he purchased it outright. So Bob he was the perfect gentleman. I miss him greatly. Everybody loved Bob. He had that aura about him. I went to a show with him in North Carolina, and we would walk into a building and everybody acknowledges Bob. And that's how it was. He didn't have to say a word.
Right.
He had that kind of energy. He had it.
Yes.
And he was just a genuine genuine man and owner, and he's got great kids as well.
Absolutely.
And so we miss him greatly. Steve has taken the baton and pretty much carried on that whole thing.
That tradition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and I think that's something people that, can overlook is having good ethical ownership.
Absolutely.
And you're proud of who you work for and the company and the ideals it stands for. Bob was fair, Steve's fair. It's just it's an honor to work for ownership like that.
And while you're saying that, I know there's a lot of people watching that knew Bob, that know Steve.
Yeah.
So, I love the fact that you're telling us this story about Bob, about Steve. I was thinking when I was down in Indio just last week with Sarah and Mickey and Pete. Michael LaBraza was with us too. I was at Motor Coach Country Club, and I was thinking, I don't just represent myself, I'm representing my wife, my son, and then my thought went to, I'm representing Jay Graham, I'm representing you, I'm representing Dave Bash. And I'm not talking about Marathon Mondays here. I'm talking about an employee of Marathon. And then my thought went to, I'm representing the legacy of Bob Shellhorn. I'm representing, Steve Irvin. I'm representing Steve Shellhorn.
Absolutely.
These people that give us the luxury of representing such an amazing product. And it was a funny thought because I just was down there thinking about what a great product and that people really enjoy. And we're on to another generation with Steve being the owner after Bob passed on. And so I love the fact that you shared that with us.
Well, it's part of our history.
It's part of our history, and I love the fact that this company embraces it. And one way we embrace it is with the people that have been here 10 years, 30 years, 34 years, almost 30 years.
I'm not that old.
That's right.
It's more than a job to all of us.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. It's
well, people don't know this, but you guys were working. I know you worked all weekend. I'm sure you were involved. We're getting ready with the NASCAR rally coach, and trying to get that ready. And it's an all hands on deck concept when you're working with a timeline like that. So, talk to us about what you've done over the last year that excites you.
I guess one coach, if you want to, there were a couple coaches that we built for musicians that were very involved, had different things in every part of it.
Right.
The first one was totally unique. It was it's like, I think Jay would say it's one of our favorites coaches, the great coach. I can't say names, but
sure.
It was very unique. It had a separated cockpit, it had a large screen TV, several of them in the salon area.
Had 6 bunks?
6 bunks.
6 bunks?
Yeah.
Murphy bed?
But it
A
was
Murphy bed that lifted up so he could practice playing. It had a mirror on the back so this musician could practice while he was traveling.
Sure.
It was just a unique coach, and probably one of my most memorable things here. We had to finish it. I had to leave Sunday night, and we were right up to Saturday. We had to leave early Sunday morning, and production finished it Saturday 6 or so.
Yep.
And I had to decor the coach, and Jay, who did it on his own time, he helped me decor it because he didn't want me to be down here by myself.
Sure.
That late. And he's done that on several coaches, so he watches out for me. But we got through the corn, and I don't know, it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were whooped. I mean, we were whooped. And all of a sudden, Jay opens a drawer and brings out something similar to a Martinelli's.
I thought it was going to be Reese's peanut butter cups.
No, we needed something more than that.
That's right.
It was similar to champagne.
Okay.
And he pulled out 2 glasses, and he said, let's enjoy this moment. And we said, it was, as tired as we were and beat
really
up,
cool.
It was totally awesome. And we thought ahead like that.
That's awesome.
But just to decompress.
Let's stop and acknowledge what we've just done.
They had the lights on, and we were just looking around, and it was a pretty cool deal. Really cool. Probably.
That's a great story.
It was. It was. When he was mentioning the coach before, I thought he talked about a coach we did back at the old plant.
Okay.
And, it was revolutionary in itself. But we worked pretty hard on it. He did most of the cabinetry in it. It was very difficult cabinetry. All curves, and we had some trick mirrors.
That's right. It was the first coach with
Euro.
curved cabinetry as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a big departure from what we normally did.
So not a straight line on the cabinetry, but more of a curvature, contour.
Kind of what you see today. We had that.
Okay.
Back. This would have been 89.
Yeah, 89.
1989 when this coach was.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we got done, the coach was leaving, and we said, we better film this. So that's when Al on Fridays started. That was my debut.
Al on Friday.
Yeah, and Jay was filming.
Every Friday, Pete.
Yeah. Jay was filming, and we were walking through this coach.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll never forget it.
With a VHS camcorder?
Oh yeah, it was like, this big.
Yeah, like you're carrying a barbecue on your shoulder.
Yeah, with this blocked cell phone, right? But we went through the coach, and I was trying to do my best impression of you. And we got back to the wardrobe, and we had all touch latches. There was no pulls.
Right.
I hit the drawer, and it popped open, and there were a pair of drawer slides with a bunch of ball bearings in it. And the camera was down there, and I go, well, this drawer is your storage for your ball bearings and extra drawer slides. And you can store 5,892 ball bearings in this drawer.
At least.
At least. And I thought that's what
I was laughing so hard. The camera's just jiggling. I mean, it was.
Needless to say, Al on Fridays never took off.
No,
we could do a reboot.
Guys.
Yeah.
So, what's coming up? What's coming up? I asked Jay the same question. What are you working on? What do you want to work on without giving away, anything that you want to keep under your collar? What are we looking forward to?
Well, like Jay said, it's hard to say because one, we want to proof things out that the product actually matches what's in your head.
Sure.
So before you do things like that, but Jay and I have always worked really well together. We share thoughts and designs, and so that it's inspired by that. Customers inspire us. They really have good creativity as well, but you get creativity from anybody. I mean, I've even got a few ideas from Pete, but yeah, when I can catch him when he's not at the cafe. But I think creativity is inspired by technology, new products. You see something, and then you get an image of how it can be utilized. And I'm working with a pair of customers now that have very customized coaches, so my time's pretty much focused on their coach. But they're very creative, very precise in what they're doing. So that's been taking a lot of time currently, but I think we're kind of built to come up with new things all the time. That's
Yes.
how we're wired, and we don't be like a painting. Van Gogh just painting a picture of the same thing every time.
That's right.
And doing it repetitively. And
Well, it's like Walt Disney said about
Right.
Disneyland. It'll never be
No.
done.
no,
You know, as long as there's imagination, it'll never
right,
be finished.
exactly.
And that's what I mean. You guys are constantly pushing, and that was part of my question to you. Constantly pushing what's next. What do our customers need? What do our customers
Absolutely.
want? What inspires us to move on? And another thing, I hate to bring up Disney again, but Marty Sklar, who was the head of Imagineering, right, for many, many years, used to say, we would never tell Walt no. They would never tell Walt Disney no. They would say yes, and then figure out how to get it done. So a big part of what you guys do is a customer will come to you and say, I like this, or Alan, I want to integrate this into my coach. And you figure out how to integrate it into the bedboard or to the bathroom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jay, I need this in my coach. And you take it to the team and you figure out how to properly integrate it. Pete Sutton is the same way. You know, Steve Shellhorn will come to Pete and say, okay, we want to do this event. And Pete, with his resources and his team, has to figure out how to get it done. Something I forgot to mention when we were talking to Pete was these parties. Both of you have been to these parties. Both of you have been to these events. Our marketing team puts on these parties, and it is, I mean, I just got back from one, so it's fresh in the mind. You know, Douglas the crooner comes in from LA. Pete is endlessly trying to find the best catering for the customers to enjoy, the best food and drink, the best entertainment, even down to the lighting. It's pretty amazing. So, not putting you on the spot.
You're right, though. Like Mickey was kindly reminded me, it is the whole team. I can't do it all. There's just no way. You know, these events are too big and there's too many. So it is the whole team. But you know, I want to get back to what you guys were saying. You know, we talk about these two are kind of our behind the scenes innovators, but there's another huge one that we just kind of touched on, and that's our clients. There's a lot of what we have that's standard now that originated from a client that came in and said, hey, I want XYZ, whether that's how our folding bed happened. You know, we've had the privacy doors with the liquid crystal that's been done like that. So there's a lot that our clients bring to us as a challenge, and like you were saying, Alan and Jay don't say no, and we, as long as it doesn't make the coach dangerous by in any way, they'll figure out a way. And a lot of those items become standard because they're just too cool. Right. You know, you put all this work into making it happen once, which sometimes can be hundreds of hours, and then after that it becomes a standard item.
What a great point. Our customers, the extended family of Marathon, really pushes the innovation, really pushes the design, really encourages people that are in the process of making decisions and creating marathon coaches to push it even further. So that's really cool.
You mentioned Pete's not only marketing, but he does the paint design.
That is a good point. So Pete Sutton, for how many years have you done the paint?
I don't know.
Several. So I don't know. Several. Several could be 2 or 17. No.
Been a few. I don't remember how long. I don't remember when we started.
So, real quick, where I'm on my first road trip with Pete, and I look over my shoulder at the airport, and he's drawing something that should be in the Sunday comics on his iPad, freehand, while we're waiting for our flight. This guy is a true artist. He won't tell you. He won't talk about it. And that's kind of a characteristic of a true artist. It is therapeutic to this guy. I've asked him about that. You know, on his breaks, some people refill their coffee. Some people get more tea, like Mickey. Pete draws. He does drawing.
He gets the coffee too.
He gets a coffee too from time to time, and donuts if you're not careful. But yeah, you know, a true artist, absolutely amazing skill, and you bring that to the coaches. We're looking at two of them here. This is your design.
In a way, I draw them, but I draw them for the owner, for Steve Schohorn directly. So he approves every one. So if anything, you can almost say that he's the main client. Anytime it's a spec coach, and you know, I'm designing to please him. So this is very much a reflection of his taste and his desire for continuing to push the envelope, things like that. So Steve takes a very special interest in what happens with that. And if it's not for Steve, then it's for the client directly on a customer. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's kind of the fun part of the job. Is I think any of the guys will say here, you know, we're always designing to please somebody, and that's half the fun is finding out what's in their head, what they love, and trying to bring it to life. And hopefully, when they get their coach, they feel like, yeah, this is it. This is mine. This is me in a nutshell. And that's the fun part of the job.
Well, as the new sales guy for Marathon, it has been a pleasure working for you and with you, your marketing team, and yourself. I love going on these trips with you guys. I love planning them. I love doing Marathon Mondays, and it's because I'm working with you and Mickey and Todd and Sarah, because you guys really make it easy for us to sell and promote the products. So thank you from me.
We appreciate that, and we all are, of course, wondering how many donuts is this going to cost us next week for that plug.
Just a dozen. Just a dozen.
Dozen's not bad. We can handle that.
Okay, so Dave rejoined us. So what you didn't see while we were talking with Al Christensen was Dave took a phone call. Dave wears a Bluetooth. Everybody knows that he does because you've seen it on video. You've seen it when you come to Marathon here at the World Headquarters in Oregon. And there's a reason that he wears it, and that reason is customer service. I'm going to talk about Dave because he won't talk about himself. There's a reason that Dave is called affectionately the co-host of this show. It's because how much he contributes to the show and to Marathon. Another thing that he's blushing. I'm doing this because I know he won't.
So how many calls do you usually get a day?
It's different each day. That one was from service. They had a question for me, so I got to go over there and answer a question when I'm done.
So on a tough day?
So we're wrapped? We're done? We're out of time?
We're almost done. We've gone long today, but this show, the 50th, and a recollective of kind of talking with you guys about history, about design, about inspiration, and now I want to talk about customer service. So we're going to run a little bit long today. This company, we were just down in Indio for the Desert Shores party, and we were talking about customer service, and a couple of our techs were down there, Mike McGill, and help me, Dave.
Either Westwood Cook, Terry Warren.
I think it was Terry Warren was down there.
Jeff Campbell.
Maybe it was Jeff. I'm not quite sure, but one of the things that Marathon does is they have a couple of techs from our service department down in the Southern California area, pretty much all throughout the season down there.
Right after the first of the year through usually the end of March, sometimes into April.
Okay, so 3 to 4 months while most of our customers are down there. We have techs, they do kind of a week and a half, 2 week rotation. But out of 50 episodes, we've talked on and off every other episode, it seems, about, well, Dave's not with us today because he's in Georgia. Well, Dave's not with us today, he's headed down to California. Dave, you are tireless at providing customer service.
I get tired.
I know you do. But you are constantly out there helping the customers, helping the company, picking up coaches, delivering coaches. you spend a lot of time with the customers, almost as much time as anybody else does between you and a custom order with Al Christensen or with the salesperson like myself.
Well, you know why that is, right? Because these guys keep changing things.
That's right. Got to keep pushing the envelope.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and you're.
Yeah.
So when you take delivery of a new coach or a pre-owned coach, one of the things that is well spoken about is you get to spend time with Dave Bash. You get to learn the ins and outs of that coach. And Dave is very, very patient. He's been patient with me, new to the industry. Several of us are new to the industry. Several of our owners have never driven a 45-foot coach before. They've never operated any of the items that are within a marathon coach, whether it be the 4K TVs or they've never hooked up a sewer hose. So Dave, one of the things that you do that I hear about all the time, either by email or in person when we're out and about, is how much people really appreciate what you do, and what you've brought to Marathon Mondays is a level of expertise every time we needed it. So from us and from the viewers, I've received emails over the last year about how much they want more Dave Bash. So thank you from us.
Could you talk to my wife?
Yeah. And that's another thing that we need to bring up is you spend a lot of time away from home, away from the family. And to have an understanding family is another big part of it. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. What have you done over the last year? A delivery or what have you done over the last year that really stood out to you that you enjoyed doing?
Well, I enjoy spending time with the customers, showing them and watching their reaction when I show them what they've got, how to work it. Seeing their reaction, and it's fun to see their reaction when, wow, really?
Yeah.
That happens?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's humbling sometimes, isn't it?
It is. And some of them can't believe that they've got something like this. And then some, everybody's different, so get different reactions from different people. But, I've got to learn when these guys change stuff, I've got to learn how it works so that I can show the customer, because I'm the last one the customer sees before they go into service if they need service. So, showing the customer how to use their coach is one of my main jobs here, and it's a fun thing to do.
Absolutely. I think I was mentioning to Steve Irvin one time about I want to learn many aspects as I can about marathon. But if I can't learn them all, I need to learn the people, and you're one of those people that if I come to you and I ask you a question, 99.9% of the time you know it, and if you don't, you patiently seek it out and find out. And that's something that is pretty amazing about the resources that we have, not just you four, but all over this building. You do a lot of deliveries. You'll be on the road constantly over the following year. We've got a lot of custom order coaches that these guys are working on. And I don't have to mention that to Pete because he's got a lot of paint jobs that he's working on. A lot of custom orders, some designer spec models. What are you looking forward to in the next year?
A vacation.
A vacation. I was just thinking In-N-Out Burger.
That's a plus.
That's a plus. They say that it might be coming to Salem. They're scouting. So, what are you looking forward to?
An In-N-Out Burger right at the end of the street.
That's right.
No, just I'm glad to have a job and support my family. And I have a fairly large family, so when I'm gone, my wife has some help at home. But I just look forward to continuing to show people the innovations that we have in the industry, and continuing to see their reaction when I show them what they got.
Yeah. And when you talk about reaction, I want to talk about real quick my favorite show over the 50 episodes that we've had, and I don't think it'll surprise Mickey. I think it might surprise everybody else. I think my favorite episode was Rick and Linda. We just met them, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, more like a month ago, excuse me. Rick and Linda are some owners. They purchased a coach. I'm going to refer to my notes because I want to get their coach number right. And I think they were going to deliver the donuts. No. So let's see here. I got nothing, you guys. Let me just tell you about Rick and Linda. They purchased a pre-owned coach and they brought it into our service department. And they were so thrilled with the customer service at Marathon, with the innovations, because they bought a pre-owned coach and they loved it. But they wanted to change a few things. And so they got with design, and they got with engineering, and they got with service, and they are making it kind of a 2.0 version for themselves. And they were so genuinely happy, and I love to see that reaction. So that's piggybacking on what you're saying, is you get to see these customers' reactions. I know all of you get to see that. You gave a presentation down in Florida. You got to see people kind of responding to what you were saying. Pete, with all the parties that you do and the paint jobs, people's reactions. You paint up these samples on these big pieces of metal and you send them to the customer.
Andy does, but yeah.
Andy does, but you design them. And Al, you know, just as much as Dave Bash, you get to see people's reactions to your decor, your design, what you decided to do with how the flooring responds to the couch, you know, or how the couch responds to the flooring.
Well, I think that's our goal, like Pete had mentioned, and Dave and Dave. Our goal is to meet the expectations, learn about the customers, what they like, what they don't like, and then hopefully you nailed it when you get done. It's everything they had envisioned.
Right.
And that's really the icing on the cake for all of us. That's our job. And that really is the point. And I do want to add on to what you said about Dave and his patience. He's incredible.
Yes.
Some guys are like this, and Dave will teach them as much as he can, and they want to hit the road. And some people need, 3 or 4 days before they're comfortable with everything. And Dave adapts to whatever, and he doesn't, and you probably witnessed this firsthand, he doesn't make you feel like, hurry up.
Yes.
He's extremely patient. He'll take as long as he needs to.
You need to talk to my wife too.
But he's like the perfect delivery guy. He adapts his.
He represents this company all over the country, and I can't think of a better person to represent us all out on the road.
Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Let's.
Do you want Reese's peanut butter cups?
I like Mounds myself.
Mounds.
Like I said, man, we have to say it because we know you won't. So Marathon Mondays has been a pleasure. I want to thank you guys and you guys, Todd and Mickey and Sarah, for helping out every week. The reason that, and you can speak to this too while I say this, Pete, the reason that I wanted to do something like this and pitched it to you was because I came and I joined Marathon January 1st of last year, and right away I saw how innovative, unique, and amazing this product is, and how, well, like we were just talking about Dave and with you, Alan, it's such a personal item. Our employees take this job so seriously and enthusiastically, and so I wanted to somehow do something unique. And I guess it's a function of sales and marketing because, I mean, let's face it, my job is to sell the marathon coaches. And so, you know, I'm doing it to help promote me as the new sales guy, but also I'm not scared to highlight Rod Johnston. You know, Rod was on episode 6. You know, our sales guys, some of our sales guys have been with this company a long time, and I really appreciate them welcoming me in and helping teach me just as much as you guys have. And so Marathon Mondays has been a pleasure. And the last thing I want to mention are the people that watch it. There's a lot of people that comment. We've got people all over the world. On any given day, probably today, you've got Belgium in there. You've got all over Europe, down in Mexico, Canada, of course, and all over the U.S. people are watching this. And it amazes me sometimes. The episode where Mickey was driving jumped up thousands of viewers in 4 days. We've had, you know, the tours that we did around the building. People, you know, 12,000 people in 1 week watched that show. The Christmas show that featured Steve and his family, and the paintings. The New Year's Eve show, the thing that Todd did with the tour after hours. Really cool stuff, and a lot of people watch it, a lot of people comment, but a lot of people don't comment. But a lot of people use Marathon Mondays as a resource. And so the reason they use it as a resource is because we source people like yourselves. The industry professionals like yourselves contribute to the show. So thank you from me for contributing to the show all the time and letting it happen. Making it happen. So, is there anything else you guys want to say? It's a little loud out here, but
stop dragging us into these things.
I know.
I would like to say thank you, Mal, for making it fun, because this is fun for all of us. And,
I appreciate that.
Made it very relaxed. I think it represents our company, the way you handle these. So, thank you. You're awesome, and thanks for being part of our family.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy doing it, and I think it does represent our company. We're definitely transparent. We're definitely transparent. So every Monday morning, 9 a.m., episode 51 will be next Monday, live from Indio, California. I'll be down there at one of the parks down there, so make sure you check in every Monday morning at 9 a.m. for Marathon Mondays with Mal and our favorite co-host, Dave Bash.
Am I going to be down there?
No.
Okay.
You won't be on episode 51, but I'll probably say hello to you.
Oh.
So thanks everyone for tuning in and dealing with our Wi-Fi issues again. But hey, at least you get to watch it later on YouTube or Facebook. Email me, malw@marathoncoach.com, and let me know what your thoughts are and if you'd like to buy one of these beautiful coaches that we're sitting next to. Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Have a good week. Thanks. Thank you for dealing with
Thanks, everybody.
Tell us, how long have you been marathon owners?
No, since
1990. Oh my goodness.
It was sketchy. I have no clue why. That's why
Right there.
I did everything.
When you talk about leather, you talk about it has good hands. Part of purchasing program. The showroom, so let's go back to side of it because it's just beautiful. I love the colors. Don't forget there's a refrigerator on the other side of the barbecue. And I looked Tom Browning up online, and he's still active.
Yep, he's still active.
Today is Ernie's 3-year anniversary with Marathon Coach. That's a big achievement. You work with Al Christensen in our design. You're one of 2 designers. One of the coaches that we're building right now. Beautiful work, our upholstery team.